Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. Uh, Today we're going to be looking at the legacy of Roberta Flack.
Oh, yeah.
Huge, soul music icon who we recently lost. And we've got this CNN article all about her life and career.
Yeah,
And I think people are going to be pretty surprised by, all the layers to her story.
for sure.
You probably know her voice from these massive hits like Killing Me Softly with his song.
Right.
But there's like a whole universe, behind those songs.
Absolutely. I think it's easy to forget, when you hear those instantly recognizable songs, like just how much depth there is to Roberta Flack's musical journey.
Yeah, so let's get into it. So the article talks about her childhood. She was born in North Carolina, raised in Virginia, and
Wow.
was playing classical piano by the age of 9.
Oh, wow.
Which is like pretty hard to picture, right?
Yeah.
Little Roberta like practicing scales.
Yeah.
And then, years later, she's this powerhouse soul vocalist.
It's amazing that contrast, right? Like having that foundation in classical music that she carried with her throughout her career. Right.
And it's interesting because, in the 1960s, as a young black woman trying to make it in the world of classical music, she faced so many barriers.
No, I bet.
Yeah, the article even mentions a quote from her where she talked about feeling pigeonholed, like always being told to sing soul.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted to be recognized for her musicianship, for her talent, not just fit into a box.
Yeah, you can really sense that drive in her story.
Yeah,
And that desire to break free from those limitations.
absolutely.
Which kind of takes us to Mr. Henry's, this club in D.C., where she had this legendary 3-hour audition for Atlantic Records.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Wow.
What do you think was going through her head during those 3 hours?
I mean, it must have been just this incredible display of talent and stamina. I mean, she reportedly sang over 40 songs.
Wow.
Like, you could almost feel the energy and passion she poured into that audition just reading about it.
Yeah.
I mean, no wonder she was signed on the spot.
Yeah, and that led to her debut album First Take back in 1969.
Which had The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face on it, which is interesting because it wasn't a hit right away.
Oh, really?
It took a few years, and Clint Eastwood used it in his film Play Misty for Me.
Wow.
And then suddenly it just exploded.
That's a great example of how, seemingly random events can completely change an artist's trajectory.
Yeah.
I mean, that one decision by Clint Eastwood catapulted the song to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Wow.
It even won Record of the Year at the Grammys.
Wow. Talk about a turning point.
Absolutely.
And then came her second album, Chapter 2, which was another success. And then her collaborations with Donny Hathaway.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Where is the Love is just pure magic.
Their voices together, the harmonies, it's a timeless classic and deservedly won a Grammy.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget Killing Me Softly with his song in 1973.
Oh, right.
Another #1 hit, another Grammy, and a song that continues to resonate with people today.
Yeah, but there's something that I find even more interesting about Roberta Flack.
Oh,
She was so much more than just beautiful love songs and ballads.
right.
She really used her music to speak out on social issues.
Absolutely. Her music had this depth, this social consciousness that really set her apart.
Yeah.
I mean, take Tryin' Times, for example,
Yeah.
a song that speaks directly to the struggle for racial justice. One particular lyric that struck me was, "Hang on just a little bit longer, things are going to get better." When she released that song in 1969, the civil rights movement was still fresh, and the fight for equality was far from over.
Yeah.
That line feels like both a message of hope and a call to action.
It's powerful how music can capture those feelings, the anxieties and aspirations of a whole generation.
Absolutely.
And she didn't shy away from tackling other tough topics either.
Exactly. Compared to what? It's a
Right.
powerful critique of socioeconomic inequality.
Yeah.
It asks some tough questions about poverty, war, and the systems that keep people down.
Wow.
The article even quotes Reverend Jesse Jackson describing Roberta Flack as socially relevant and politically fearless.
That fearlessness is so inspiring, especially considering the time period. Did she ever talk about the risks or challenges she faced for being so outspoken through her music?
The article mentions an interview she did in 2020 where she reflected on her music from 50 years prior.
Oh, wow.
And she talked about how the themes of racial injustice, police brutality, and economic disparities were just as relevant then as they were back in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, wow.
It's almost as if her music transcended time,
Right.
speaking to these deep, persistent issues that we're still grappling with today.
And that brings us to something I find really fascinating about Roberta Flack.
Okay.
On top of everything else, she had this whole other side to her.
Right.
A side that really challenged the norms of the music industry, especially for women.
You're talking about Roberta Flack, right? That
Right.
was the alias she used when she started producing her own music.
It's like she was saying, okay, you want a producer? I'll be your producer, but I'll do it on my own terms.
It was a brilliant move, really. I mean, remember, this was a time when women in the music industry were largely relegated to singing or songwriting. Very few had the opportunity to take on roles like producing, which was seen as a man's domain.
Right.
Yeah.
So by adopting this alias, she could navigate that system while still exerting her creative control.
Exactly.
It's a testament to her ingenuity and determination to break down those barriers.
For sure.
But it wasn't just producing. Think about the range of artists she covered,
Oh, yeah.
from Leonard Cohen to the Beatles.
That's right. Her musical curiosity seemed to know no bounds, and her influence on younger generations is undeniable. I mean, the Fugees' version of Killing Me Softly became a massive hit in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And even artists like Lizzo, Lady Gaga, and Ariana Grande have cited her as an inspiration.
It's amazing to see how her music continues to connect with people across generations.
Right.
You have to wonder, what is it about her voice,
Yeah.
her style, her songwriting that makes her work so timeless?
I think it's that raw emotion, that vulnerability, that ability to tap into something universal in the human experience. You know, it's like when you listen to Roberta Flack, you're not just hearing a song, you're feeling a story.
Yeah.
And those stories, those emotions, they transcend time.
And that's a perfect segue into this last point on our outline.
Okay.
Roberta Flack's artistic philosophy. I came across this quote from her in the article that I think sums it up beautifully.
Okay.
She said, "Every song that I recorded expressed something deep and personal to me.
Wow.
Each one was my singular focus, whether in the studio or on stage.
Wow.
It's as if every note, every lyric was infused with her own life, experience, her own truth."
And that's precisely what makes her music so powerful, so enduring. You know, it's not just about technical skill or vocal prowess, it's about that raw authenticity, that willingness to be vulnerable and share something deeply personal with the world.
It's interesting because you look back on her journey, from those early classical piano lessons to her breakthrough in soul music, her social activism, and even her alter ego as a producer.
Right.
There's this consistent thread of breaking boundaries, defying expectations, and staying true to her own vision.
Absolutely. And I think that's a powerful message for all of us. You know, Roberta Flack's legacy reminds us to embrace our individuality, to use our voices, our talents, our art, to make a statement, to challenge the status quo, and to never stop pushing for what we believe in.
It's inspiring to think that her music continues to resonate with so many people today, decades after it was first released.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what Roberta Flack song speaks to you most deeply and why. What is it about her music that connects with you on a personal level? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And of course, if you haven't already, I encourage you to explore Roberta Flack's incredible discography, dive into the richness of her music experience, the emotions, the stories, the sheer power of her voice. It's a journey you won't soon forget.
Well said. Roberta Flack's music was a gift, a testament to her talent, her courage, and her unwavering commitment to using her voice to make a difference in the world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into her extraordinary life and career. Until next time, keep exploring and keep those deep dives going.